Now, while this may be a fable, the golden egg that we're talking about is definitely not a fable. In fact, it addresses the four areas of greatest interest to banks in terms of issues for continued success for banks surveyed by Bank Director magazine. And those are, of course, retaining deposits, attracting new business customers, developing new sources of revenue, and enhancing technology to improve productivity. But when asked how confident these banks were in terms of achieving these key priorities, there was a significant confidence gap between what they wanted to achieve and their perceived ability to achieve it. And confidence is the bridge between expectations and performance, between investment and results. Confidence influences the willingness to invest, to commit time, money, reputation, emotional energy, and other resources. And it is that investment or its absence that shapes the ability to perform. One place where that lack of confidence is perhaps most evidenced is the amount of dollars that are swept out of the bank each and every night. 1 out of $3 that could be held on deposit is being swept out. And with the repeal of Reg Q, these are dollars that can clearly be targeted and are indeed a golden egg opportunity for banks of all sizes. The other place where community banks can turn to look for opportunities to gain greater business checking deposits are those large, giant banks with $15 billion or more in assets that are operating in their marketing area. These banks only represent 0.5% of all the banks, but 73% of the assets, 68% of the deposits, 78% of the non-interest-bearing deposits, and 85% of the non-interest income. And with the repeal of Reg Q, one thing that community banks should brace themselves for is the fact that these large banks that are operating in their backyard are going to be targeting those balances and those non-interest income fees. And the real opportunity here is to turn the tables on those large banks and instead target those deposits and those fees from their banks and to have the confidence to do so. This is a true golden egg opportunity. For, as you see, looking at banks with assets greater than $15 billion, fully 26% of their deposits are non-interest bearing compared to only 15% for banks under $15 billion in assets. For income, 35% of the large banks' income comes from non-interest income compared to only 20% for banks under $15 billion. These are both golden egg opportunities for banks across the country, not just in places like New York City where banks with assets greater than $15 billion account for 88% of the deposits, but also in places like Colorado, 3 counties there where 62% of deposits are from banks or go to banks with assets greater than $15 billion. Or in 12 counties in Maine, 56% to those large banks. Worcester County, Massachusetts, 39%. 26 counties in Florida, Georgia, and Alabama, 55%. In Oconee, Clark, and Barrow counties, Georgia, 55%. In 12 counties of South Texas, 65%. In 7 counties in Tennessee, 54%. In Philadelphia, Bucks and Mercer counties, Pennsylvania, 76%. And in Washington and Oregon, 68%. But even if you don't have a large concentration of giant banks in your backyard, there still is the opportunity to reverse the trend in the sweeps that are being swept out of the bank and bringing those dollars back in with the repeal of Reg Q. And this is a significant golden egg opportunity. To bring those dollars back in just a few years to change the shape of this pie chart would be a very big win for for banks of all sizes, and particularly for community banks. Your legacy business checking products that are your current products are going to reach a crossroad, a point at which they have to make some decisions because of the repeal of Reg Q. One direction they can go is full value business checking. The other one takes them in some hazardous areas that you should be really concerned about. First of all, they could threaten the loss of opportunities, such as the prospect for new mature accounts that can be attracted with conversations in the post-Reg Q era, or the reversal of those sweeps that are leaving the bank. And those prospect opportunities will sink and perhaps vanish forever. And you can be sure that those large banks and even other community banks will be creating imaginative products that will attract high balance legal and accounting services accounts, those high balance loan independent accounts, municipal and government accounts, and high balance medical accounts, leaving the bank with a flattened pyramid of deposit value with a high balance loan independent accounts and a group of other segments that are less profitable or in some cases actually unprofitable. The alternative is to adopt ABCS's keys to full value business checking, of which there are 7 keys. First of all, offer a fair earnings credit rate and a fair interest rate. Secondly, account for all services rendered and charge appropriately for them. Carry forward unused credits so that they are a storehouse of value and a way of building customer loyalty. Expand eligible services for earnings credits so that they are a medium of exchange and are a way of increasing compensating balances with fodder. Pay higher tiered rates on excess balances to encourage larger balances, and promote earnings credit synergies between the deposits that are held in business checking balances and business services, and assign true clearing times on all checking deposits. These are the 7 keys of highly effective business checking products. And they promise to take that $1.5 trillion that are currently in non-interest bearing deposits of all banks and attract back into those banks another $1 trillion, putting the non-interest bearing deposits back to $2.5 trillion. This is a $1 trillion golden egg opportunity.